And we're live. We're live. We're live. I am excited. Let me make sure we're getting this off to everywhere as we are kicking off. And I believe this should be in a few different places, which I'm excited about. And it looks like we're rocking and rolling. So, as you guys join us, let us know in the comments. You can see us, you can hear us. I'm pretty excited for today, what we got to cover, as it's super important things that if you're not doing your insurance business, you are getting behind more and more every day. So we got some really, really awesome stuff we're going to cover with you guys. I'll have my partner and everything, Elle, hop on in just a few minutes. She's doing a little behind the scenes, sending out notifications, letting everybody know to come join us as we rock and roll today. So I'm going to go ahead and also pin this to the top of the Facebook group, which if you guys are watching this from any other location, this is playing in a Facebook group that we have called Marketing for Insurance Agents, 35,000 insurance agents all across the country, all lines. Definitely come join this Facebook group if you're not already in it. And if you're joining from the group, let us know in the comments that you can see us, hear us as the people are starting to hop on as we get rocking and rolling. So once again, I'm going to pin to the top, just make it a little bit easier for people to find. I see Amy already commenting that she sees it. Cool. And let me go ahead and pin to featured, bam, and pin to the top. So let's see if we got everything. Bam. Okay, I can see the first comments coming through, so that's a good sign as we get started, and I've got it all pinned to the top. So let's rock. So with that, guys, we are incredibly excited to talk about a couple topics that came up recently as we were at a conference, but things that are near and dear to our hearts, and just really hearing more and more how critical these are to grow in your insurance business. That, hey, if you're here looking to grow, scale your business, looking to be more profitable, looking to be cutting edge and not behind on everything, then you're in the right place, which is some of the things we love discussing and talking about in the Facebook group. And, when we're not, dodging gators down here in Florida, these are the things that we're putting in place, right? So guys, as you're joining in the comments, let me know where you're joining us from. So, right, city, state, let us know there so that we can see, and then let us know what lines of insurance you guys focus on. And I got the amazing Elle, who's just joined us as well, that I'm really, really pumped about. So, and if you got any other agents you think to check this out, would love to be part of the community and group, feel free to invite them, as we'd love to have them in as well. So, Elle, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm super pumped to talk about this. I was thinking about this morning because we've been creating content around AI since 2023, maybe late 2022. And we did a training earlier today for clients, and we basically are having the conversation, like, if you are not using AI inside of your business, you will not have a business in 5 years or less. Like, if you are not learning how to use these tools starting today, you are going to be left behind. And I feel very inspired and a little bit fired up from the conference that we went to last week, just because the urgency just felt so pressed upon me, not just for myself and our agency and what we do here at Jumpstart Go, but for every single one of our clients, every single agent that we work with, people that are coming across our content. You all should be using AI, and there is literally no excuse. If you just backtrack through the free trainings that we've put out in the Facebook group, on YouTube, on our Instagram lives, wherever you guys are tuning in to this, we have put out enough content for everybody to start using AI in their marketing strategy. So I'm really excited to dive into it today, hopefully answer some questions. And I'm curious, let us know in the chat if you're using AI in any capacity, whether that's in your marketing process, in your sales process, if you are, I'm really curious to know what tools you guys are using or how you're implementing it inside of your business. I want to put more training and resources together for you guys so that everybody can be using it. So the more you guys let us know how you're using it or how you want to use it, then the more trainings we can put together for you guys on this. So anyway, David, I'm feeling good. I'm excited to dive into it.
Me too, especially because I mean, we've been enjoying seeing so much results coming out of this, and also just having fun too, which is always fun when tools are exciting and new, and really enjoy putting them in place. So I'm excited to cover this. I know that these are really, really popular trainings inside our programs that you've been doing with agents on these as well, and we're only scratching the surface of what all can be done as it's moving lightning fast today. Just kind of like when internet came out and all these things started happening at once. It's the same thing here on the AI side. So don't get caught left behind. Now is the time to take advantage of this. And if you haven't been taking advantage of social media, which has been an opportunity for a while, now is today is definitely the time to get started on that. So with that, well, little quick introductions. Like I said, we have new people here all the time. So for those that don't know, I'm David. This is Elle. We're two of the founders of Jumpstart Go, which actually runs the Facebook group that probably a lot of you guys are watching this from, Marketing for Insurance Agents that I mentioned earlier. Come join us, 35,000 other insurance agents in the group. But Elle and I both originally came from marketing consulting backgrounds. We are married, by the way, surprise. Started dating at 16 in high school, married at 21 in college. Both came up through Atlanta. I went to Georgia Tech there. She went to SCAD, marketing consulting for a whole bunch of industries. Eventually said, hey, we love the insurance industry, really 10 to 15 years behind a lot of other industries. We want to come in. We want to be able to help them grow and scale. We're licensed agents ourselves. We sell ourselves. We have an agency as well. We test a lot of other things. We teach in as well. We love this industry. And I think it's unique that we get to come from a marketing consulting perspective as well as a life insurance, insurance perspective as well. So with that, social media is one of the biggest areas we've leveraged, put in place, do over $1 million plus a year just off of even Facebook alone. And we love showing agents and agencies how to do that and grow and scale as well. And part of growing and scaling their business is leveraging current technology. Otherwise, you get left behind. Can you imagine not using the phone today? Can you imagine not using the internet today? Well, it's the same thing with AI and where that's going as well. So those are some of the areas we're going to talk about today. And so if this is your very first time hopping on, you're like, hey, I've never got to join you guys before. I found you on social. This popped up on my feed. Right first, or the number one in the chat. We'd love to welcome you. Love to say hi. Got team members like Edgar and Charm from our team that would love to send you some free training, some resources, some great stuff that would be helpful that you can start diving into some of the stuff on this, as well as how else we can help at all with you and your business. So we'd love to just welcome you and say hi. If it's your very first time, just write one or first in the comments and let us know. Now, if you're back, you're ready for more, as we got a lot of regulars that love hopping on, catching the replays, everything of these, then just write MFIA, which stands for Marketing for Insurance Agents, not Mafia. Always got to clarify that. Don't want to get in trouble. So with that, we're going to go ahead and hop into what we're going to talk about today, as I like to get to the meat. So the insurance industry is evolving fast, guys. Very fast, like lightning fast today. It's evolved probably more in the last couple of years than it has over decades before, right? And so if you're not adapting to leveraging AI, social media, and modern marketing strategies, you're already falling behind, and more so each day. But agents who master these skills now will absolutely dominate. So don't get left behind. Pay attention, put these things in place. There's no excuse not to, actually. I mean, like at this point, you're just burying your head in the sand. And at the end of the day, technology always wins. Burying the head in the sand does not help anything. So we're going to talk about how AI is changing. How about that? We'll use that word. Revolutionizing. I can say it, right? Don't never give up. The way insurance agents market and sell. We're going to talk about the exact social media strategies that generate leads and clients without feeling salesy. And no, it's not paid ads. We're talking organic here. And the biggest mistakes agents make and how to fix them. Because otherwise, hey, knowing the mistakes is one thing, but how to fix them is even better, right? So if you're excited to dive into tonight, and talk about these things, jump in with us in discussion. Please drop your comments, questions. You'll get the most out of this the more you put into it. We want to make this most valuable to you, and part of that's answering your questions. Heck, we'll even do a little Q&A potentially at the end as well, so make sure you drop those so we can collect them and answer them in a little bit. But if you're excited to dive in, just write AI in the chat, because it's nice and easy. It's 2 letters. Anybody can type that, right? So write AI and we'll rock and roll. So L, let's just go ahead and start with AI, because I feel like it's one of the hottest topics right now. Everybody's, really like, what's going on here? I hear new things every day. Seems like stuff's changing at lightning breakneck speed. Tell me a little bit about the role of AI in insurance, how to leverage it, or just in general too.
Yeah, and I'm kind of curious in the comments what you guys think about AI. Like, do you think that AI is going to replace a bunch of jobs and a bunch of people? I 100% know that it will. I actually asked AI about this in ChatGPT, and it estimates that over 300 million jobs will be replaced by AI, but that it will actually create new industries and new roles. So this is exactly what we're talking about as far as understanding the technology and getting ahead of these trends, or even just staying with the trends. Is that AI is here to stay. This is not a fad. And it's starting to understand how you can use the tool so that you continue to stay relevant and valuable. A lot of the services in, especially in things like service, data entry, and even creative fields like writing and design, we're already seeing this happen. One of the main things that we're working with our clients on and training them to use AI to create better social media content that engages more people, gets more eyeballs on their social media profiles, and ultimately gets people reaching out to them. AI is also becoming emotionally intelligent. One of the things that was probably one of the most shocking things from this conference that we went to was the realization that we are moving towards a future where people are going to have romantic relationships with people that do not even exist. This is already going on. There are already apps and websites where people can connect with a romantic companion that is AI. It is not a real person. And one of the things about this is, and this is what makes AI so powerful in your marketing and such an incredible tool, is that it is hyper personalized. All right. It learns, right? It's learning about you. And think about this from a romantic dating standpoint. Like, how amazing would it be to have such an emotionally intelligent companion that knows everything about you, knows your communication style, and can engage with you in that way. And this is also what makes it, so powerful on that customer service side, on that sales side. How many of you guys have seen those demos of the AI agents where it sounds like you're talking to a real life person on the other side? Also, AI doesn't get tired like people get tired. It's literally just going to disrupt every single industry out there in every single way. So I know that in my mind, like, I'm only scratching the surface. Like, I only understand one little tiny iota of what it can do, and it absolutely blows my mind.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the uses and applications of this is endless, and in a lot of ways, ones we can't even fathom or think about at this point. If you can only imagine, I think relating it to the internet, right? Like, I think TV and radio is still very confined, even though they made massive changes. But just think about the changes that made, and now on a whole new level with what AI is able to do already and where it's going. So that's the thing. Who would have thought ever when internet first came out and be like, oh, at best, eventually email, like, oh, I could message someone on here, to eventually like full social media platforms, reshaping culture, community, like into the fact like where streaming services and Netflix and things came out that basically killed cable, all these sort of things, right? So that's kind of what's going to be happening here. And yeah, we're talking about a few use cases and other stuff now, but once again, we're talking about being cutting edge and ahead of the curve on things versus being the people like, internet's a fad, it won't be here to stay, which is very much how some people are treating AI and some of these things as well. So let me know, and I expect probably most of the answers to be no, but who knows, who here would ever date AI or robot, right? Like, let me know in the chat as I was bringing that up. So I would say you don't have to be that open-minded to be able to use AI and leverage it for your business and growth. But it's a curious case study and interesting, right? So I want to talk about how specifically for tonight at least, how AI is reshaping lead generation, content creation, and client interactions, right? We'll keep it a little more focused tonight. We'll leave the dating for another time. So, but that's what I want to talk about. I think a lot of things that one thing I've noticed, Elle, and I'll have you toss a couple of yours in here too, is I think a lot of people struggle with like social media and things because they don't feel creative. They're like, I don't know what to say, I don't know what to talk about, I don't know what to create, and that holds them back, right? Whereas I feel like, I don't know what to talk about, how to provide any value, so I just won't, right? And that's the worst thing, is not that I don't have anything valuable to say or that I don't know things that would be helpful to my audience or stuff, just like I don't even know how to put that together, or how to talk about, or how to make it interesting. And that's one of the best use cases I think already off the bat agents have been starting to put in place and apply, is having AI like ChatGPT, for example, right? We use that very heavily, and helping me come up with ideas. Helping me shape a framework, a story of what I can talk about, ideas for my content or a short video. And that helps me put things in place that maybe would take hours or days to really come up with, that I just wouldn't, because it takes too much time. And if I can make this easier and allow me to get my voice, my value, my input out easier, and in a way that's also entertaining and that people are paying attention to, that's hugely valuable. And that can keep a lot of people who've been behind the scenes, introverted, not wanting to hop out there, and helping them feel comfortable doing that in a way that they feel like, cool, this is worth it. I can provide value, and I can hop on to something that really people have been using forever with social, and now feel confident in that a bit. Elle, have you seen people using it, leveraging that way?
Yeah, absolutely. So in the client training that I did this afternoon, we went all the way from signing up for a ChatGPT account, and then through the steps of the inputs, and really starting to build that foundation for your marketing strategy. So like, you as the agency owner, you still ultimately get to decide, as far as the inputs that you're putting into ChatGPT, which becomes its foundation or its base that it's going to draw its inspiration from. One of the things when you're getting started with ChatGPT or an AI tool is that you need to feed it good inputs, good inspirational sources for it to pull from. And that's really going to affect the outputs and the results that you get. So I'm curious, let me know in the comments here, have you seen really generic AI content, and maybe on social media, maybe it's an email and you're like, oh yeah, that was definitely not written by a real person or by that person. Write yes in the comments if you've seen that. And that usually comes because the bot hasn't been trained, and it hasn't been given proper inputs or kind of right inspiration to draw from. So when you open up your fresh ChatGPT, it's just kind of, if you ask it to write you a social media post, it's going to write you a social media post. I mean, it's going to do what you ask it to do. the quality and how custom it is to you is ultimately going to be determined by those inputs that you're giving it. So you want to think about, how you want your content to come across. Do you want it? We did this exercise with one of our clients. Like, he really wanted his content to be kind of humorous, and he wanted to educate his audience, but he wanted to do it by entertaining his audience. So he wanted to create, content that was going to be more funny, meme based, using GIFs, kind of poking fun at, certain areas and highlighting areas that need to be addressed, but in a funny way, in a light that would be kind of like two friends maybe like poking around fun at each other, but in a still good-hearted, not a mean-spirited way at all. But that was really how he wanted his content to come across. So we had to let ChatGPT know that's the tonality and the style of content that we were going after. If we don't give it those inputs, then it's just going to give us sort of blanket, generic, sort of watered down type content. And in marketing, that's like the worst thing that you can do. You do not want to be generic. You want to speak to a particular audience. You want to stand out. You want to have a certain perspective and certain voice that you're using in your marketing content. This is what differentiates you and ultimately makes you that category of one, and people reaching out to you because they resonate specifically with you. So that is, I think, one of the biggest concepts to understand when you're starting to use ChatGPT or any AI tool for your marketing, is that based off of the inputs are really going to affect those outputs that you're going to get.
And I would also say, like, one of the biggest things with marketing, social media also, but really for all marketing, is consistency, and being able to put things out, to talk on your key points that that are important, like protecting your family, legacies, health, or whatever the things are that are most important that you help with or want people to know more about or put in place, which we're all from insurance industry here. So things in and around family, health, property, lives, wealth, all fall in those categories, right? And part of that is consistently putting this out there. And social media doesn't really work if I do one post and then come back next year, do another post, right? That's not how social works. So I want to consistently put that out. So it's not that I have to put out some new and innovative piece of content every single day that's an hour-long video. That's not necessary at all. But I do want to consistently put things out. And this is where this can help me basically take these core drums that I beat for my business and for what I talk about, and being able to do them in different ways, using stories, using memes and jokes and posts, or key takeaways, or educationally teaching on something. AI helps me be able to put these things together so I can be more consistent and I can save more time and I can deliver it in probably a better way than I would even be able to do as a part of that. And so I think that's the biggest things, is it helps us be more leveraged and be able to do more that we've traditionally used an excuse of, I don't have time for that, that's too hard, that's not something I can potentially do, to where now there isn't really much of an excuse because AI can help me do all of this. I know I'm thinking of a client, and just because you were talking about leveraging a little bit of personality and approach, that they love Star Wars, they do PNC, and they used AI to help them put together content that both talks about Star Wars and like home insurance, and puts these things together that got very popular and ended up having referral partners, or people reach out wanting to be referral partners based off that content, getting invited to podcasts, other things like that. Once again, it can help me take some even passions of mine and tie that together, which makes it even more interesting when I talk about something I love and know a ton about, in addition to relating that to the insurance industry, right? So Elle, have you found that it's been able to help you save time and be more leveraged with what you do or with our clients are doing?
Yeah, absolutely. I know like being consistent on social media is probably the biggest hurdle. And it's something that you really have to be committed to. You have to be committed to generating your leads this way. Just like anything in business, you have to put that time and energy into it in order to see that result, and ultimately for it to come to fruition. And I have been amazed at now, especially really working on my particular chat GPT, giving it feedback, giving it examples of my writing, and even asking my audience. I think I did late last year. It was like 90% of my content has been AI generated. Could you tell? Most people said no, but some people were like, yeah, I could tell. Like the emojis gave it away. And so I'm like, okay, I took all of that and gave it back to ChatGPT so that it could make it sound more like me. And I'm truly amazed now because it's pretty much writing just like I would write something. It didn't happen overnight as far as, I would say I have been consistently using it now for probably about 6 months or so to actually write content for me on my personal profile. And it helps me stay so much more consistent than I could in the past. And that consistency is the biggest thing that is helping me drive more engagement and more views on my content. Ultimately, more people reaching out, more leads generated through that. So that is a huge thing that people, I think, think a lot of times like they're trying to be maybe the most creative or try to, create content that they feel so perfect about, but the reality is it just kind of removes a lot of the thinking out of it once you have it done. So when you're tired or you're really like, I'm not really sure what to write about this, you can just load it into ChatGPT and it does a lot of that heavy lifting for you, and allows you to stay consistent and ultimately more visible in front of your audience.
I love it. Guys, let me know in the chat if you are at least using Chat GPT, right? Now, doesn't mean you have to use all different AI tools and everything, but at least using Chat GPT, or if at least, have it on your computer or phone, something there. Write Chat GPT, or write yes, or write not yet if you don't have it yet, because you're going to be adding it very soon, I'm sure, as a part of this. So I want to talk about kind of leaning into that a little bit. Like, how many people here wish if only I had copies of me, if only I had more of me, right? That used to be a pipe dream, right? Like, oh man, I can get additional people, but getting to think like me, talk like me, be me, like, man, if only I had more of me in the day, right? And that is something that's very interestingly, ChatGPT and AI almost even allows us to do. We have a client that runs a large organization, and for them, like having them be able to respond to different things on social, email, being able to be in many places at once, like time and availability is a limiting factor. You only got so much in a day. And it's like, how do I have more of me? And that was actually through training AI and how the person writes, how they talk, how they use punctuation, and their knowledge, the background, how they would answer certain questions, and training that to where essentially it can answer questions very much the same way and give the same response as that person could, right? And so basically almost replicated a copy. And between that and a virtual assistant is able to handle a lot of different things really on their behalf to save them time and be more leveraged, to where if they need to be in a certain location or they're on a podcast or something like that, that needs to be them physically, versus being able to respond to questions, inputs, emails, questions from agents and stuff, can handle a lot of that answering for them as well, and a virtual assistant basically leveraging that there. So that's just one use case of basically I can create an army of me, right? And using it in a lot of places. And so if you've thought, hey, if I could have more of me and save time and I want just to trust that the answers and responses would be kind of similar to how I would do, then that's now a world at your fingertips that you now have available through AI, right? And so I think, kind of moving into like, how is this affecting industry and some of this, I won't go too in depth because there's a lot of different ways and it's getting faster and faster. But we were actually at an event and had one of our representatives from Transamerica come out for that, who and talking to him a little bit about AI and a couple things there. I'm like, man, they're just going to have some significant effects on the industry. Like this could potentially replace entire underwriting departments, right? And he's like, yeah, pretty much. You might have some people to help kind of just oversee that, but yeah, like AI really could handle a lot of that. So what does that mean? That means we could have more instant issued and approved policies, right? If it hits the underwriting through the AI and it says, yep, everything looks good, ready to go, cool. The policy is issued immediately, right? And these are things that we can look at: faster approvals, faster issuing. We can look at more, maybe more lenient, creative, like underwriting, if we can take more variables into account that would take a person a lot of time to look at. Heck, how would that even apply and replace like actuaries, and being able to even correlate certain things that they may not even spot or notice, or whatever, and then we can give even more accurate risk assessment. Who knows? Like, once again, these are just even some small ways AI could really be pulled into this industry. And then I'll just think about InsurTech and how some of these things can be done as a part of that too. So once again, not something that's scary, but something that's exciting, something that's really awesome and amazing, and something that makes this a really great time to be alive and for business and being able to put these things in place. Which leads me into the next thing I want to talk, Elle, about is some of the AI misconceptions around maybe level of text expertise and knowledge. You need to know coding to use these things. Is this something that's just a gigantic learning curve to even start using at its basic level? Like, Elle, what are some of these AI misconceptions that you've seen?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that it's scary to people because of, oh my gosh, it's revolutionizing, it's changing everything. It's so different. Even the training that I did earlier today, I asked the question. I was like, if you have not signed up for a ChatGPT, like, why not? Like, if you are on this call and you are working with us as a client, like, there really should be no reason why. And everybody that is tuned in right now, there should be no reason why you do not have a ChatGPT account, and you should also have the app on your phone too. And the number one thing was that it's scary, it's new, it's uncomfortable, and it can feel pretty daunting, which I think is a normal response to something that feels very, very foreign, and maybe almost feels like you're having to learn a new language. But I think the thing is once you start actually using it and like, touching, feeling it, kind of like getting into it, you'll find that it's way more intuitive and less intimidating than you may have it like worked up in your head about. So of course, like there's applications that would require more technical ability, but like, for example, using it to help you write emails or to create your social media content, or maybe crafting a reply to an unhappy client or something like that. Things of that nature, or how to have a difficult conversation, even using it in your personal life. Maybe you gotta have a conversation with your mom or your daughter or your doctor, I don't know, and you're not really sure what to say or how to have that conversation. That's a scenario that you can give to ChatGPT and say, hey, this is what I'm dealing with. Like, how could I approach this conversation for a win-win outcome? You can have ChatGPT coach you. It has access to the internet. So use cases we've seen of it of like, you're Oprah Winfrey and I'm dealing with this problem. Coach me like Oprah would coach me, or coach me like David Goggins would coach me.
Very different responses, I'm sure.
Yeah, very different responses, right?
So,
So
so
just starting to get comfortable with it.
yeah, and guys, think about that. Think if you had a whole executive board being able to give you feedback, responses, ways to think through different aspects of your business that are, Cardone or Gary Vee or Oprah or, Warren Buffett or whatever. And basically, what AI, it can pull how they would respond based off the knowledge that has their, what their thoughts are, the books they've written, that sort of stuff, to be able to give feedback from their perspective. And it's almost like being able to have all these experts and that I can draw knowledge and input in different perspectives so I can make a better educated decision for decisions I'm making versus just making it myself, right? I mean, would that be helpful? Yeah. And that's where we've seen people using this to challenge themselves in different ways or to get different perspectives they haven't thought about. But giving an even more practical application is, yes, using this to role play with, handling conversations with prospects and objections, and my presentation being able, okay, be a pretty easy prospect for me as I'm getting used to this my first time. Okay, be a little bit tougher prospect, give me some really challenging objections and back and forth, and make me work handling this and explaining this. Hey, I went through, how could I have delivered that more effectively or better, right? And once again, whether it's me role playing my sales, me role playing training with my agents, my team, role playing presenting the opportunity as far as building my team, like all these things are things that I can leverage ChatGPT AI to help me with. In fact, I love talking to ChatGPT. In fact, I like it continuously learning more about me. So I have it ask me questions each day and I answer those questions, and it continues building up this knowledge and memories about me. So as in the future, I ask it, hey, I need a story for a piece of content today. And it can be like, okay, I remember the story you told me last year about this. That was funny and I think applicable to what you want to explain. Bam, I got that story that I would never even remembered because it had memorized that for me, right? And so once again, these things are really, really powerful. And if you need more examples of use cases, anything like that, let us know. We're happy to show you just some different ways to use it. Or better yet, ask it yourself. Just ask ChatGPT, hey, what are some use cases of life insurance or a P&C insurance or health insurance agent, that you would be able to help me with, or that I could use to help make my life easier or more effective. And it will tell you and give you examples, right? Like, it's smart. It's very smart, actually. So awesome. So we talk about AI a lot, but and once again, not highlighting that AI is not to replace agents, right? Like, we've actually seen from InsurTech enough case studies, background stuff, like you can't completely replace agents because that knowledge is incredibly valuable, that personal experience, and being able to answer questions, all these things just doesn't get replaced from that side, especially when it comes to handling claims or situations that have arisen and stuff like out of that. Is the tech side on some of the insure tech has handled it very poorly, and it breaks down on that side, where it might make it easier for someone to purchase if they don't understand exactly what they've gotten, why that's important, the right recommendations. It's not doing financial analyses, all these sort of things, where it's not going to replace an agent. It's just going to be really where agents that leverage it are going to outpace and be way more successful than those that don't touch it at all. And so it's not a crutch, it's a tool. So keep that in mind and perspective going forward. So we'll be here all day talking about AI, but I want to lean into something that people are probably perhaps a little bit more familiar with, that's not as new, but is a huge opportunity that if you haven't been taking putting this in place for your business and strategies here, it's basically going to be the same as if you ignored AI going forward, is how much opportunity you've already missed out on this, that really the best time to start state, and that is social media. So Elle, can you talk a little bit about why social media is so important in 2025 and why it's a non-negotiable, why this is not something, you could do social, you could not, but really, like, if you're not doing this, you're almost willfully being ignorant.
Yeah. So never at any point in time or history have we had this much opportunity, and it is literally available to you for free, to get in front of thousands, tens of thousands, even millions of people, through organic social media. And I'm not talking about, just running ads and paying ad spend to get in front of people. I'm talking about organic content. There are multiple platforms out there that you can be creating content on. David and I are very big believers in really understanding one platform before expanding into other platforms. And really thinking about it not just as a way to get exposure and eyeballs on your content and expanding your brand, but truly as a lead generation tool. And I think that this is something that a lot of agents think that social media and having a social media presence is like a nice to have. But it truly is a non-negotiable. David, why can't we just continue to operate with building our network in person, with our circles here in our communities, shaking hands, kissing babies?
And I guess first thing to highlight, it's not a replacement for that, it's an enhancement. So whether we're in person or telesales or Zoom, like social media is an enhancement to all of that, right? And so if it's me not using that at all and another agent using social, already building up connections, familiarity, trust before that person's ever actually seen them for real or in person or actually ever even spoken with them, you're going to lose out as a part of that. And so, it's not just a nice to have, it's absolutely key because this is also how people operate today and how they interact, right? Just like, if I was a business and leveraging like TV or radio or print in the past, like that's where people got their news, that's where they got their information, that's where they learned of people. And that's, was a huge opportunity to get in front of people, but it was very expensive. Whereas now we have the best time in history to get in front of people, an audience, our own TV show for free off of social media. And so with that, that's how people who've grown up with this have adapted to the way they interact, they make connections, they do business. So as we get down, especially millennials and Gen Z, they operate daily off of social media. In fact, that's where they sometimes get all their news, all their interaction, connect with their friends, connect with businesses, make purchases, e-commerce. They don't go to a mall. In fact, they don't even know what a mall is. They're getting everything offline, and that's where their connections are, right? And so what do? Do we just ignore it? Like, nah, that's, they're being lazy. They don't like human interaction. Like, well, then I just won't sell anything ever to millennial or Gen Z, or I adapt to how things have changed. And that's what we're talking about here. Like, if that's that important and that's what's happening and that's how people are interacting, I can't bury my head in the sand. I've got to use it. And so this is the time to do that. I can now build my exact target audience, not just anybody, everybody, but my actual exact target audience. I can have a following. I can be an influence in that space. I can build where people know my brand and come to me and I don't have to chase them. And that's the power of social, leading to other opportunities. And now, back in the past, if I operated in Florida and there was someone in Oregon and maybe we had synergy, we'd actually be great, partners, have all this, ability to both help each other grow their businesses and protect insureds, but we would never come in contact, never even know of each other, because how would we? Like, we're totally across the country. There's no way that we even know what's going on. But now through social, I'm able just easily through a Facebook group, a common thing, that's being discussed there, through a post, ended up connecting with someone that absolutely changed my business 180 degrees and have it skyrocket, right? And so once again, it's never been easier to make connections, and end up building clients a brand, your personal brand, not the company you work for, but your personal brand and agency through social. So that's why it's not an option anymore. That's why it's not, just a nice to have type thing. It's absolutely critical. And these skill sets that come from social are also skill sets that apply in a lot of areas. I was just talking to someone earlier today about how critical and important being able to do video is. Not saying that you have to go do hour-long videos or stuff like this necessarily, but being able to do video content, period, even short form, is a critical skill. It has become the most consumed form of content years ago. Like, that's already a long time ago that it became the most consumed and most impactful piece of content. And now being able to create short form video is infinitely important, because that is really what grows content, what builds audience, what is effective, how people consume. They don't want to read even a paragraph. They'd rather you put it in a short video, right? And so this also translates to even in-person aspects of like speaking on stages. We just was having this discussion with someone earlier today of like, as I'm doing Facebook Lives or videos and stuff, now I hop on a stage, 100,000, 10,000 people, it's the same thing. It just is basically doing a short presentation or discussion or teaching on something that I've gotten incredibly comfortable through just doing often, even on social media, right? So use this as a way to continuously build skill sets, but in a way that it's being delivered and impactful today, and technology is a part of that, and social media is a big piece of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really just cannot stress enough here, like, if you are watching this right now, you're in the Marketing for Insurance Agents Facebook group, that you are living in a time and space where you have the most opportunity that any entrepreneur or business owner has ever had before you. You, right now, today. And you make the decision. You're going to make the decision after you get off of this live stream about what you're going to do with this information. And truly, this is a waste of time. You should get off right now if you are not going to take something and implement it from this training. This is something that David and I see all of the time. People want to build a brand. They want to generate leads through social media. It is so attractive to them, this idea of $0 leads, people reaching out to them that are high intent, and it exists because we see it day after day after day. But the thing is you have to put in the work to understand how a social media platform works. You have to understand that this is an algorithm that is driving social media. And you really do need to spend the time in understanding what drives the algorithm. And David, at the end of the day, what makes the social media platform stay up and what makes them turn and the world turn?
Really comes down to that, right? Like the platforms are businesses. And so it comes down to how they're designed to operate. Not going to go through all that right now, but it all comes down to maximizing revenue and growing for these social companies, right? So if they make their money through ads, then they're going to incentivize and really create the whole algorithm to operate, to help them make their money through ads. And so example of that is basically reducing the reach or how many people see anything I do from a business page to nothing almost, because they want us to spend in ads instead, right? And so once again, that's where personal profile comes into effect and a lot of things we teach. But I need to know how they operate so I can actually leverage those things to my advantage and use them in the correct way to grow and scale, which doesn't have to be ads like we're talking about. But in order to do that, I need to know how it works. So at the end of the day, it's important to learn these things, but no matter what I'm doing in my business, it takes learning things and putting those things in place and the action, right? If I'm growing my business through leads and someone's like, man, why you're not really getting any growth results? Like, how many of these leads are you calling a day? Oh, I make like 5-10 calls a day. Well, there you go. That's the explanation right there. If I'm not actually putting into action and putting those things in place, how can I expect the results to come from that? It's the same thing with social media. Now, I think it takes a lot less time and effort on that side, but it still takes putting that stuff in place and being consistent and taking action. So once again, like Elle said, if you're just here to listen to some things, learn it, but never actually put the things in place, then yeah, you're wasting time, right? And that's why I'm sometimes hesitant on. We do a lot of free content. We do a lot of these trainings. We've done probably 700 of these Facebook Lives, webinars, and stuff over the years. But only a fraction of people who listen to these things typically take action. That's why I like programs, coaching, and training, because people are invested in putting things in place and seeing success, so they do them versus free. It's nice to learn. I like to consume a lot of stuff. I'm a content aficionado versus actually putting things in place to grow and scale the business, which is always going to come down to no one's going to come do it for you. No one's going to hand you some magic lead that's got a credit card, bank account ready to purchase right away. Same thing on social media. It's not, let me just do this one magic post and my business, changes overnight. It is still work no matter what I do, but I got to choose. Do I want to choose a thing that's more effective and scales and snowballs and gets easier and easier over time and rewards me more and more? Or do I want to choose the thing that takes a lot of time and effort and just keep doing that grind day in, day out, even though it's really can burn you out and stuff there too. So pick your work, choose your hard, right? Choose your hard. What hard do you want to choose? And then put that in place, right? And that's what really it comes down to. So whatever you're putting in place, make sure you're committed. And at the end of the day, action breeds results, I think, as we all know, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And if you are not actively investing time and energy into learning the skill of social media marketing, you're going to be left behind and you're already missing out. And so I implore all of you, if you're not active on social and you're not actively looking to better that skill, ask yourself why. What is your block? What is the thing that you are telling yourself in your mind that is keeping you from posting every single day or at least 5 days a week and interacting with your audience? I think one of the biggest things is time, but it's really a priorities thing, because what other skill is going to have a return like learning how to get in front of millions of people for free? Tell me, what else is going to have a bigger impact on your business than learning how to consistently get in front of an audience, communicate with them, and call them to action, which is to reach out to you, which are leads that come to you for free. This is something that I have told David and also our team this morning, that I think it's time that the kid gloves come off here at Jumpstart Go and that we start getting very direct with all of you, our audience, on where we're going, what's the future. Because the reality is that you're here to learn how to market your business and you care about the future success of your business. So if you do not have a daily block on your calendar to learn social media marketing, and then again to put something in practice, to take action every single day, you are going to be left behind and you're missing out. So plug into our trainings here. Like David said, we have over 700 of them available to you that you can plug into. If you want more trainings on social media, you can write training in the comments here. We have a team that would be happy to connect with you and get you set up with, we talked about the algorithm. How does the algorithm work? How to optimize your profile? What percentage of personal content versus business content should I be using? How do I actually create engagement, and how do my activities on social media drive results? All of these things are trainings that we have already put together for you. All you have to do is ask for them and we will connect them to you for free. This is free content that we have put out in our group and on our channels. So if you're there and you're like, okay, Elle, I get the message. I need to be doing more. I'm ready to plug in and start consuming more content. And really learning, and not just consuming content, but taking action. Write training in the comments and we'll get you started. Also with our AI trainings as well. So David, let's make sure that we do give some practical, also social media advice here. Honestly, taking action and being consistent, those are going to be the biggest things. But let's say you're brand new to social media marketing, or you're looking to get started again. What are some, let's say maybe three basic principles people should be considering when they're thinking about putting some content together for an effective social media marketing strategy.
Absolutely, guys, and don't feel overwhelmed. Like Elle said, just take a little bite out of it each day, and it'll start building an impactful. And the most important thing is to put action, and that will lead to the bell. Will lead to results, and which is really what it boils down to. So, as far as what when I'm putting social, and we'll do this in Q&A. Some of the common questions we get that we'll answer for you guys here is how do I actually get leads from social media, right? And one thing Elle and I talked about earlier tonight was we do feel like it's very important to first learn, apply, and get results and growth from one platform before trying to do additional, right? Trying to do a lot of platforms once is really hard and making it even more difficult for you versus putting one in place, getting results and growth through it, and then potentially expanding to additional platforms from there. So picking a single platform, we very much like Facebook for the vast majority of time for clients, just because we find it's one of the quicker and easier ones with the least amount of content requirements and unique advantages like Facebook groups. So if you're not sure, Facebook can be a very great one to start on. And then yes, there's like Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok, pros and cons to each of them or ever. But once again, I find when things are easier, simpler, and take less time, they're easier to be consistent with and put in place and be successful, and then transition to something more like a TikTok that takes 3 or 4 videos a day, which most agents would rather shoot me than start off on that side, which is fine. All right, I want to keep stuff simpler and easier so I can be consistent with them. So that's the first thing, is its platform. So say with Facebook, also realizing the importance of its social media. So the importance of it being me in front of them, my brand and personal profile, right? Started talking about that a little bit earlier. So I want to use my personal profile. I want to make sure I build and have the audience that should consist of 4 things if we're going to write things down, right? I want my audience to consist of my target audience, which that's the whole thing itself, is knowing who is my target audience. My target audience isn't a product. It's a target audience that I can help with that product and either help with others or through referral partners for that too. I want to be known for a target audience coming to me, getting referred to me, being an authority in that area. And then I can always grow and help from there as well. But it helps to have a target audience. So I want to build an audience of my target audience, potential strategic referral partners. So businesses that deal with my target audience that would be able to send them over to me, connect, there's synergy between those two. So strategic referral partners are absolutely part of my audience that I want. Centers of influence, slightly different. People that have influence, power, connections that are able to either connect or put me in front of people as well. And so this can be things like heads of parent-teacher PTAs, heads of chambers of commerce, people that are in city government, mayors. We've had a client before through social media connect with the mayor of their city, end up being the face and the agent for Life Insurance Awareness Month for their city. It led to a lot of opportunity, a lot of sales and stuff just because they made that connection with the mayor through social. So centers of influence, and then of course clients. I absolutely want to be connected with clients. They're some of the best referral partners out there and social proof of being like, oh, work with Dave and Al, they're amazing, I love working with them. Oh, really appreciate it. And other people are saying that, not just them. Okay, let's pay attention to this. Or oh, they're in their own Facebook groups, their neighborhoods, communities, someone's asking about insurance. Oh, let me get connected with Dave and Al. And all of a sudden in a group message, I just got a referral out of nowhere because I'm not even in that, right? So absolutely want to be connected with my audience as a part of that. And Facebook groups are great examples of being able to go to a group that already has my target audience or potential referral partners and being able to get in front of them, even if I not necessarily have a big audience or connections myself personally, right? Once again, advantages there. So that's a bit on the audience side. Elle, what as far as the content side goes along with that audience side?
Yeah, I think people really like to jump in and talk about their business, and they don't really treat social media as what it is. It's a social platform. So when they're thinking about, oh, I got to build my social media presence, and they're kind of thinking very, very narrowly about putting out content around their business. But really what performs the best is going to be things that are more personal type pieces of content, interests, hobbies, things that make you not just a boring old insurance agent. Because let's be honest, people do not come to social media to learn about insurance or to shop for insurance. So you really want to lead more with things that make you you. Again, going back to that category of one, there's only one of you. And there are things about you that are unique and special. And so we want to make sure that we're bringing those things into our content. Maybe it's something about your kids, your family, a sports a hobby or league that you're a part of, a game that you're really interested in. Maybe that's a video game or playing chess or things like that. We want to weave that into our social content because that's what makes us human, and it's also what performs well on social. And then we want to, of course, we want to talk about our businesses, but we don't want to do things that are like, call me for a free quote, no obligation review. That kind of stuff is super salesy and it creates a lot of resistance. That's kind of like what people have come to expect on the business side, and they tune that out. In addition to that, on the business side, I hate to break it to you, but nobody is paying attention to your Canva graphics, okay? You need to get on video. You don't have to do a live stream, but we do encourage people to do live streams like this. Doing short form video, showing your face on video, and doing selfie style content, and pairing that with educational style content that educates your audience, entertains your audience. These are the things that are performing well on social media in 2025. I was at a training last week on social media on short form video. And the trainer was like, you guys, she's reviewing content, thankfully it wasn't ours, but somebody else that was on the call. And she was like, your Canva graphics, that content performed well, 2020, 2015 to 2020, maybe. But with the rise of TikTok and short form content, that does not perform well. So your hearsay social post, your what is the life insurance one that
Life happens?
Life happens that people post from? Stop posting that. That's not helping you. Get on camera, use your phone. You have a powerful device right here for creating content through photos and videos. Show your face, and that is your biggest brand asset. So you don't have to learn Canva. You can ditch all of that. Just worry about getting on camera, taking selfies, and posting consistently. And if you just did those things, you're ahead of the curve and ahead of most insurance agents and what they're doing on social media. Okay, David, I feel like real kind of like ranty today.
It's important though. Like, I think we've been like, yeah, social media is nice. Oh, it's important. Agents are should use it. But I think tonight's like really like, hey, listen, or it's tired of just being like, this is a nice to have, or you guys should pay attention to this, and just be like, listen, it's not optional. Like, you really need to learn to put these things in place, or you're really just going to be missing out and be behind the curve. So, so that's what we did tonight. Not that it's because we care about you guys. I want to see you guys win the results, that we're really being insistent about this and really talking about this and diving in. So we want to help with this. Ask questions. Use this Facebook group. If you're watching it from the Facebook group, like, this is here throughout the week. Ask questions, dive in, get feedback, connect with others. You can do content together with others, right? And really start leveraging and learning this. And no better time in history to learn it, and with a whole bunch of people to help support it as well. So like I said, if you're like, hey, I would love to know exact A, B, C, D, down to a science, customized to me, and to how to put these things in place and grow and scale my business, along with help from you and Elle and the coaches and stuff, and other amazing agents doing the same thing, then just write training down in the comments, and we'd have Charm or Edgar or someone from our team connect to be able to both get you some of the trainings we already have, as well as to see how we can help you grow and scale your business like we've done with so many others as well. So just write training, and love to connect with you guys there. And really key takeaways, from tonight, embrace AI and social media, and it's the key to the long-term success, and honestly, at this point, short your growth in your insurance business. And we take action today, guys. Don't wait till next week. Don't wait till next month. Every single day you're waiting, you're getting further and further behind on this. Take action today, even if it's a small little bite, right? At the end of the day, the worst thing you do is just ignore it and not take any action. Even just learning a little bit, taking action, starting post a little bit is moving in the right direction. Move yourself in a little bit that direction, and then just continue. You'll find it really ramps like a snowball, right? So, Elle, any final words?
This AI is not going anywhere, and I definitely, one thing right now, if you do not have it on your phone, put the ChatGPT app on your phone. That is like your #1 homework assignment here, and start using it. Use it every day. Start plugging into trainings, like educate yourself about what this tool does. We have amazing resources here inside of Marketing for Insurance Agents for that. But there are a lot of content creators that are putting out good information that you can take and that you can start implementing today to help you with your business. And be consistent. I know sometimes when you hear a message like this and you feel all like excited and fired up about it, and sometimes that fire can burn real bright and then it dwindles and it extinguishes. Like David said, it's better to take small, daily, consistent action versus, burning real bright and then burning out. It's like working out or going to the gym. You can't go to the gym once a month and like, all right, I did my workout for the month, I'm good. Yeah. No, you got to go into the gym consistently.
I wish, right? So maybe AI will fix that for me too, right? So guys, thank you guys so much for joining. There's one thing that you can definitely do tonight. Download ChatGPT if you don't have it. Start playing with it like Elle said. So with that, that's your action item. Use this group throughout the week. Ask questions, drop training if you'd like to learn, grow, and scale your insurance business without paid ads, without paid leads, and love to show you that as well. So thanks guys for joining us. We'll see you guys on next week's.